everybody. This is AKA Heather Joy and Dr. K, and you
Hello.
aboarded the lifeboat.
Hi, I am
to see
Dr.
everybody.
There was some confusion on Dr. K, so I'm Dr. Melissa Kolodner, and I am a licensed child and adolescent psychologist. So when it comes to parenting, this is what I do. I do other stuff, but this is the main thing.
This is going to be good. This is
I'm
going to be
turning my
really
phone
good.
off. Okay.
Oh, I need to turn. I know I need to turn my noise off on mine too.
For some reason, when I turn the volume all the way down and
Mhm.
I hit mute, it still plays us about 5 seconds delay. And I just can't, with my ADHD, I cannot focus because I got that. I'm trying to listen, I'm trying to talk, and I'm trying to look. You need to be my eyes tonight. But I have
It's
some friends. I
okay.
know I had some friends and family, hopefully, that are signing in. So that's neat. We'll have some new people on the lifeboat.
I know this is good. Well, let me just run quickly through the rules we have here for any of the new people. The first one, please, no politics. Just if you're chatting in the live chat or the comment section, please, no politics. It's a bit triggering. We'll leave that to Tommy. Second rule, yeah, I know he knows when it's appropriate. And I tell you what, if you get me started, you'll probably be sorry, you know.
And right with politics comes religion, although it's spelled wrong, but we got to fix that. Okay, well, we'll fix that later. But no,
whoops.
Yeah, but no, is this spelled wrong? Yeah.
I really blew that one. Wow, I just noticed that.
That's okay.
You pointed it out to me. Okay,
religion.
great.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying God bless or something, but we don't want to get into specific religions, who's right, who's wrong. That would be terrible.
Exactly. Yeah, let's not force, our thoughts and feelings and beliefs down anybody else's throat. Let's see, number 3, where did it go? Yes, here we go. Please refrain from swearing in the live chat in the comment section. I know I've slipped a few times, but we try, and as Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And there's a lot to that.
Anyway, parenting. So it goes right along.
Yep. Number 4, no trolls. There is just absolutely no space on this boat for mean people. We have, this boat is magic. Like, the more people we get, it just automatically widens and broadens. And yeah, but mean people, no, there's no space. I'll toss you overboard. I won't give you, well, maybe I'll give you a life vest, but I'll toss you overboard.
There's lots of none of that. Through all of us. And I came on this site, just found it on YouTube. So I agree wholeheartedly. Are those all the rules, or is there one more?
I've got just a shameless e-bag right here. Just all of the good things that signal to the algorithm that we are an awesome channel, which we are. And people like this. Yeah, it really does. It helps. And if you can leave a comment too afterwards.
Yeah, actually,
that always helps too.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I can't see the live chat, but if you, after the show's done at 6:00, if you then put a comment, I promise you, I will look all night and I will comment anything past 6:00. So if you have a question for me, type it in now. If you have something where you want to say, I do this for the thanks. So if you want to say thanks, today, you really helped me today, you'll make my day. That would mean an awful lot. And those likes mean everything to the lifeboat and Tommy, and of course Heather Joy.
They're helpful.
They really
are. Well,
yeah. So how
obviously we have Dr. K here today, and this is going to be good. So you guys, if you have questions, please, if you can use the link that I put. I pinned the link to come on at the top of the live chat. You can do that, or you can just put it in the live chat. Just put question first, so that hopefully I can see it. Yeah, big capital letters. That will help.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I am a licensed professional, but like the little banner on the bottom, I do want to explain very quickly. I'm not your psychologist. So this is just general information that I'm giving you. If you have any further questions, you can ask, but really go to your own psychologist if you need to. I'm giving like a general. So I have to make sure no established relationship. We're just trying to help. We're doing everything we can to make a difference in people's lives. And that's our goal. Yeah.
It really is.
Your talk last night was so good on emotional regulation, I think, dysregulation.
Oh,
It
oh,
was amazing. And I didn't want to tell you in private. I wanted to say it online because it really, I learned a lot. And you could tell you had all these notes and you were talking while you were looking. You were so engaged. So thank you. I needed to say
oh,
that.
wow. No,
I
thank
wanted
you.
other people to hear it. It was great.
That's nice coming from a doctor.
Oh,
That's wow.
because you said join if I want, and I got home about 5:17, and I said, "Oh, I'm not going to jump on now," but I saw it, so
Aw,
I
well,
really
thank
liked it.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. That was really good.
Well, I just want to let you know who we've got here. We've got Dennis N., the Lady Spellbreaker,
Yay!
Charlie Mullins,
Charlie's there.
Miss
Hi.
V is here. Let's see,
Oh, Miss
Noise
V.
Opera, Nick's here. Balake, because if I say Blake, I get
Yeah,
corrected.
in trouble.
Conky Dog, Alice and Stacy. Let's see, Tommy
Virginia?
Burt.
No?
And let's see, Misha is here, awakened by the looking glasses reflection. And I have a question that she sent me for you too. Let's see, Full of Hope is here, our Irish lass.
Yeah.
And let's see, Yankee Kyle is here. I love this. He says this a lot, and I love it. He has been drug free and sober for almost 35 years. Isn't that amazing?
That's
wonderful. I know. I love that he posts this quite often, and I love it because people need to know this is possible. This is something you can do and you can maintain, and I love that. So thank you for being here, Yankee Kyle. Let's see. Oh, yes, Virginia's here.
Oh, good. Hi. Virginia and Miss V were the first people to reach out to me when I came on the lifeboat, and at the same time, they both said hello, Lissa, because I have my name is Lissa. And I don't forget things like that. So thank you to Miss V and Virginia. You made me feel very included in the lifeboat. Look where it's gotten me. So thank you.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Sasquatch Hunter is here from Alaska Adventures. In fact, my father-in-law is in Alaska right now. My husband's sister and her husband took him and his sister on a cruise up there. And my mother's done it before, and it's just amazing. So
I've done the cruise twice, and I think once, but it was right after September 11th, 2001.
Oh boy!
But I had a great time.
Oh boy!
Yeah,
good.
Good time at the same. If that makes any sense. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, we got Mind Games is here, and Conky Dong. I think I already said Conky Dong, but Stone Lux Jewelry is here. Oh, she's a beautiful lady. Let's see. CK is here, and let's see. You're here. There you are at the front of the chat. Miss Dragon is here. Awesome. I think that is it. Unless somebody. Oh, we've got Jess. Is it Jess or Jessie? It's probably Jessie. Jessie Brown. Welcome. I don't know if I have seen that name before, so welcome.
I haven't. I don't.
And Goddess Divine is here.
Okay, hello.
And Boltneck is here. Oh, Boltneck and James Novak and Varela. Matt, hey. Matt, I just noticed that you sent me a text. Like, I don't know how many days ago. It got buried. Well, you know how if you make the mistake of texting to one of those numbers of a political person, and then they send you constant stuff. So I'm constantly getting stuff, and people's texts get buried underneath mountains of other texts. I'm sorry, Matt. I'll get back to you.
I have to block that stuff right away. I can't do that.
Well, I think there's sorry lately that they bothered to bother me, because I've been giving them all a piece of my mind, and I have a lot to say. And so they hear it from me.
We don't talk here in politics, so we can't.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Okay, Rose K is here, and Anik is here, and Carol and Steve. One of them or both of them, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm glad they're here. So.
I have some family. Maybe they haven't signed in, but I know they're there.
What's that?
I know other people that are on, but maybe they just haven't, like my brother. He probably hasn't put his name, but I know he's there.
Well, hello, Dr. K's brother. Awesome. Glad you're here.
And today
What?
the topic is really for both of us to discuss. We just wanted to give a general this is how I see it. It's about parenting. If nobody asks questions, I'll just talk until somebody asks questions. But I'll try to do some basics. I and the reason this topic came up and I chose this, a friend of mine went to a court. She's not court ordered to go,
Uh-huh.
but it's a court ordered parent because the only parenting classes in Las Vegas are court ordered. So she
Oh.
went, but she wasn't court ordered. She just went to learn
Uh-huh.
techniques. And she said the first session they did nothing but berate her and the other people how they're bad parents, which I don't understand. They're not court ordered. They're paying for it and coming on Saturday morning because they want to.
Wow.
And
And
then
they're paying for it too.
yeah, they're paying
Wow.
for it. And the person who was doing the class suggested when your toddler gets angry, instead of them, when they get angry, teach them to clap their hands. And my friend has an autistic child and said, I would never do that. That means every time my child sees somebody clapping, he's going to think they're angry.
Ah, yeah. And if he's autistic, how is he going to understand that? I mean,
He doesn't talk. So that's why I said, you know
oh,
what? Let's do something on parenting and give people real advice. Because that's not, in my opinion,
yeah.
good advice.
I love that. I think it's so important too because, for so many of us here, it was our messed up parents that messed us up too. It's
So we
so,
want to try our
you
best
know,
not to do that.
yeah, and if you haven't grown up with a role model, that showed you a good way to parent,
Yeah.
it's hard to know. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking the whole time I was growing up, I thought I would always tell myself, when I'm a mother,
I'll never do that.
I'll know I won't do this, and I won't
Never
do,
do that.
I didn't know what to do, but I
Yeah.
knew what not to do.
Yeah.
And
I felt the same way. And the way I was raised, I'm 52, I don't mind saying. But
I'm
the way I
too.
was raised, oh, are you? That's awesome. Okay, you don't look at it all. So the way that I was raised, I'll speak to mine, was corporal punishment. I mean, you
Ooh,
either do what your parents said or you get hit. And as I got
wow.
older, my mom started learning some techniques and it wasn't like that. But I'm saying those are my memories. So when I
Mhm.
raised my stepdaughter, I chose never to hit. So believe it or not, for people out there, she's 29. I could get Taylor on here. She would tell you she's never been hit by her stepmother or her father ever. And so some
Aw.
people, it's shocking, but we did different discipline and it was
Mhm.
positive parenting. So we ignored bad behavior. And when there was good behavior, we praised the hell out of it. We really did.
Aw.
So it was different. The way I
Mhm.
was raised was out of fear. And I teach parents,
Ooh.
if you want your kid to fear you, then you can parent that way. But let's think of another way. I don't want anyone to fear their parent, So, but it was a different
Yeah.
time. When I went to Catholic school, I was hit by the ruler. I never remember that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Um,
the Penguins kind of hit hard with those rulers, like from what I've been told.
that's awesome. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
So,
Well, hey,
yeah.
I
You said you
heard.
had a question though too. I wanted to make sure we get to it.
Oh, good grief! I'm not. Let me. I better check. I can't.
Well,
I
you said
just get
somebody actually
into.
reached you. I'm sorry. You said someone reached out to you prior to the show with a question.
Yeah.
Because
It's
everything you're
not.
going to hear
It's.
tonight is going to be on positive parenting. And you know how when you're on a plane and they say, do your mass first and then your child's? Okay.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with parenting. You have to check yourself. If you're
Mm,
parenting out of anger, then it's wrong. And if that means you need a timeout, I've done that. I've said, you know what? I'm angry and I don't want to regret what I'm going to say. I'm going to take a 5 minutes, I call myself timeout. And when I'm done, I'll come back and we'll talk. That's what I do if I'm angry. I never want to
mhm.
respond in anger. And just that 5 minutes makes such a difference. And you're teaching your child how to regulate their emotions.
I was just gonna say that. It's yeah.
You're
There's.
allowed to.
It's.
I mean, I had Taylor at 5 saying, I'm going to my room. I'm mad. I'll come down when
I
I'm
love
calm
it.
and we'll talk. And I thought, oh boy. And she came down 5 minutes later. Okay, I'm ready.
Oh, but
That's
see, that's so good that you taught her such a valuable skill. I mean, I was listening to Jordan Peterson one time, and he was talking about when his son was just little, like about 3 years old,
okay.
and they didn't want to hit the children,
Right.
but they needed to do something. And he would do something similar when his little boy would get out of control, and he'd start acting like a little animal, and he'd make him he'd say, "Hey, this isn't." He basically he would just tell him, "This isn't acceptable. You've got to be human." And he would have him go sit on the stairs, and he would just be struggling, and trying to get control of himself again, and Dr. Peterson would look over at him, and he'd just be struggling. You could just, I could just imagine, but he wasn't ready yet, and he would just try to work out his frustration and everything, and then once he was ready, he could come and join the family again. And I thought, oh, that is good.
It was really helpful because we get angry, but I don't want anyone to parent out of anger. We parent out of love because we love our kids. So the word discipline, and I know I always talk about what the word meaning is.
Hey, but that's important. I think it's important. Etymologies.
Yeah, but discipline, parent. Oh, well, I just lost it. What the word is? It's parenting. And the word means to discipline, and I cannot remember the word right now. How did it escape my mind? I don't know, but it was a Latin word that means to teach. If somebody in the thing could tell me, I don't remember what the word is right now. It's terrible.
Which was it? The word discipline or parenting? Which one was?
Maybe it's the word discipline. I think it means to teach.
It says the practice of training people to obey rules or a code of behavior using punishment to correct disobedience, or let's see,
I think the Latin word is to teach for that, right? It comes from the Latin. If somebody could jump on their computer like Charlie Mullen.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I do think discipline in Latin means to teach, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach our kids.
Let's see.
Yeah, make sure.
So I'm looking, but there's not sure which one
I can type it in.
I have an etymology. I have an etymology app. Let me pull it up.
Really?
I forgot I had that.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. Where did I put it? Yeah. Here we go. Hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
What does it say? Old French. Actually, I'm looking at it now. It says discipline from Old French. Discipline, physical punishment, teaching, and it's there. And Latin it comes from disciplina, which is instructions given on teaching, learning, and knowledge. So a disciple, therefore, is the pupil, student, or follower of that teaching, learning, and knowledge. Yeah, so that's what it means, just so people know.
It says actually, wow, in 1200 it said, well, no, back in 1200 it meant penitential chastisement. I just thought that was.
I didn't even know how to say that word. I saw that too. I said, what?
I just thought it was funny.
Wait, do you remember the one question that somebody had before the show?
Well, it doesn't have to do with parenting. So do you want me to save that till the end, or do you want to address it now, or
to the end?
Okay.
Any questions in the chat?
Let me. I didn't see any minute ago. Let me just.
Or anybody online? I don't even know. Do they call in or?
Yeah. Well, if you guys use the link, you'll pop up on my screen, and I'll hear a little beep, and I'll know you're here.
See, my phone is I'm so sorry.
Let's see. Misha says
Spellbreaker 1313. I saw that.
Let's see. I don't see anything yet as far as questions.
Okay. Well,
but I will keep looking.
Okay. So that's okay.
Oh, and Sarah's here. Carousel Delirium is here now. Nice. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm glad she's here.
When it comes, here's the thing, and this is a line that I use in therapy. I don't mean it literally, although sometimes I feel like I do. But if I could tattoo on my head 2 words to tell you about parenting, they would be structure and
Uh-huh.
consistency.
Ooh, yeah.
Two most important things. Structure so that your child or children know what's coming. And I just lost my train of thought. How could I do it that fast? And consistency, because usually when I have a parent say to me, "Oh man, I tried that technique, but it didn't work, so I went back to the old." Well, it's like a habit that you need to break, and that's what we're trying to do. And this will help your kids hopefully to not have addictions, because you're going to raise them to express their emotions, not hold them in. And usually people drink and try drugs and get addicted because they use those substances and they go, wow, this is like medication. I mean, I feel so good. I'm not thinking about those traumatic things that happened to me, and kind of numb
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So if you teach your child how to express themselves, and the other word at structure, consistency, and the other word is empower. We can empower
Mm.
our kids. So through discipline, we don't have to be, if you go get your shoes and come here right now, you can pick out a treat. Or if you don't want to get your shoes, there will be no dessert tonight. It's your choice. Now, I don't even choices. I mean, I'm just giving one. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
Taylor, when she was little, she'll hate that I different last names. You won't know who she is. um, Taylor would, I mean, when God, I can remember her being 4 or 5, and I would say, Taylor, what am I going to say? And she said, you're going to tell me to clean up my toys and I get to have dessert, or choose not to clean up, but I don't get dessert. And
Oh.
I said, well, Taylor, what do you choose? And there were a couple times where she said, I choose not to clean. Now, I didn't express anger. I didn't get,
Mm-hmm.
um, you're not going to clean, you will. No, I didn't do that. What I said was, okay, I don't like your choice, but it was your choice. You chose not to clean. That means you choose no treat. That's fine. So I cleaned up. And when we were having dessert, which could be fruit or something, whatever, she asked for some. Sorry, you chose
Mm.
not to have dessert. It didn't happen again. So you see, like, I was, as a kid, it was, you pick up those toys or I'm going to hit you. I don't do that. It's a choice. And Dr. Gary Landreth, who is a play therapist and a psychologist out of the University of Texas, I believe, but it was in Texas. He talks about cookies and choices, and you can choose this or choose that. But the
Mm-hmm.
structure and consistency comes in because kids need to know they're empowered with their choices, in that when I do A, B occurs. It has to. So let me see. I love that. Lady Spellberg of 1313. Oh,
And there's another
something
one
I said
too.
before. That's okay. I don't know what I said before.
Oh, sorry. Let me see
I
if I
just
can.
noticed it now. When I'm
Oh,
talking, I
sorry.
don't
Oh,
know.
right there.
Sorry.
There we go. I just thought it was, yeah,
Emotions
emotions.
expressed is so healthy. Thank you, Dr. K. You're helping
Yeah.
me a lot. Remember healthier ways to use with my nephew. Oh, thank you. Yeah. There are, but kids do drive you nuts. And that's why I'm saying you need to walk away sometimes. There are times where I'm sorry, you know, your kid's broken every rule, done everything, and then does something else. Let's say you said, um, somebody told me this. They told their kid just kept getting in trouble, and finally, he spilled juice all over the living room. And he's told, if you want juice in the living room, you choose a sippy cup with a lid, which he did. So the person said, fine, you're getting everything taken away from you. Took all the juice away, all the soda, and said, you will only have water from now on. Now, that's not true. That wouldn't have happened. That would have been a day or two. But as the kid, who's, I believe, 9, is walking away, he mutters under his breath,
Mm-mm.
I don't like juice and soda that much anyway.
Oh, oh.
And the parent reacted with, took away electronics, really went overboard because they were focused on their anger rather than, see, in that situation, I would say, well, then it's not that much of a punishment, is it? You won't forget the soda. It won't be a big deal. That's how I would do it. So that's why I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
Lady Spellbreaker, like we've got to talk about emotions. We're given so many choices in past. It's always a divine redirection unless it's a make healthier choice. Yes. And I like to, kids, it's not like we're born with choices. So we're the manager, if you think of it that way, of a store. And we are trying to teach lessons to our employees. Oh, I just, I'm afraid to use food as a reward. I always do that. I'm afraid to use food as a reward or punishment because of my past eating disorder. Okay. I'm gonna explain this to you, Allison. I always jump to food, and I don't know why, because I don't like food as a punishment. I really don't, because of that. I don't want it to be an eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I guess it just came to mind because dessert, I was just thinking. Um, and I would, by the way, if we had ice cream, I would say, like, if she chose not to get dessert, she can have
Mm-hmm.
an apple. So, I mean, I'm teaching
Yeah.
her it's okay, but there's special treats you only have every once in a while. So, I'm trying to teach her ice cream isn't the greatest thing, but it's something we only have every once in a while because it's not good for you. But you're right. And there are other things you could do. You could do stickers. Um, there is a oh, give a plug out, but I'm not trying to. I'm trying to think of the name of the store. Oriental Trading Company,
Oh
CO.
yeah.
Oriental Trading CO.com, I believe. They
They.
sell tiny little things that kids always want, like little guys that slide
Yep.
down the wall, stickers, super cheap. And in
Yep.
my play group, when I teach kids, they come in and I say, you can play, talk about emotions. If you choose to talk about emotions, this is during the session, but young kids, if you
Mm-hmm.
choose to talk about your emotions and you choose to talk about and clean up the toys, then you get a treat from the treasure box. And I never had food in there, Lady Spellberg. I mean, Allison. I never had food in there. I only had stickers, but fun toys that they could earn. So that's a big deal to put there. But yeah, emotions is
In,
so important. Emotional
I
freedom
love
technique
that
tapping those
because
yeah.
you know what I see a lot lately
Yeah.
in young adults is they don't
Oh gosh.
understand consequences.
Yeah.
That you have, like, it's very obvious that they were not raised with consequences.
Yeah.
And how are you going to function as an adult if you aren't willing to accept the consequences? Because regardless of what your choice is, there's going to be good or there's going to be bad, and you
Yeah.
don't, and so what you're doing there, it seems to me like it's teaching them they have the power, they have that choice, to get the consequence that they want.
Yeah.
And and it's teaching them too
Teenagers.
that if you mess up,
Right.
you're going to have to deal with it.
Like a
And
teenager in high school. I mean, I'm not going to tell a 16-year-old, if I have a parent of a 16-year-old, I'm not going to tell a 16-year-old, you must do your report this due tomorrow, or I'm going to ground you. I say, if you don't want to do your report, you're choosing to get a 0 and it's an F. It's going to affect your grade, but that's up to you. And whatever they choose, they choose. Can't be mad at them. But and that consistency, they always kind of the consequences. They always know what the consequence is going to be. That's also really important. So
yeah, well, and,
thank you,
and I
Lady
like it.
Spellbreaker. The emotional freedom technique, tapping twice a day.
Oh yeah.
I haven't done that in a long time. I don't feel like I could talk about that. So
We'll
yeah,
have to do. I haven't done a show about that in a long time. I'll have to bring that
yeah.
up again.
It
I
is.
was
It's almost
I
like
was just
EMDR, the freedom technique tapping. It's like
mhm.
EMDR with um,
Yeah, the
free,
redirection
yeah,
thing. Yeah,
very similar. Thank you. So that's good.
I
Right.
just lost my. I was just gonna ask. I was just gonna comment, and
That's
it's just gone. Oh boy, it was. Let me think. What was
oh.
um? I don't know. It'll come back in a minute.
Is somebody signed in? It looks like it says
Is what
is somebody signed in? Why it
to
looks like
us
oh
here?
I thought
Not.
no.
No. No.
Huh.
Not that I've seen or
Okay.
heard yet. Let's see.
Hmm.
Okay, now it's bugging me what I was going to say.
Oh,
Oh, well, I was going to ask you too. When I was a little girl, and I still struggle with this today. I don't know if it's a hormonal thing. I don't know.
yeah.
But I have to set alarms all day long to remind me to eat something. I just have never, I
Oh,
don't have an appetite. I never have. When I was a little girl, my parents tried everything trying to get me to eat, and they were so worried. And they'd take me to the doctor, and he'd say, just she'll eat when she's hungry, leave her alone. They wouldn't. They'd push
right.
it and push it and push it, and I was punished, and I
You
felt
can't
like
push
I
it.
had no control
Right.
over,
Now,
and that's what a lot of eating disorder is. So I went through anorexia,
yeah.
and then bulimia, and then I went back to anorexia again, and I had to go to treatment and the whole thing, and then I jumped into addiction. I just treated one
Yeah.
for the other, but
But
I
I
have one of
would,
my
yeah.
grandsons is doing the same thing. He rarely eats, and I keep telling them, I said, I'm not sure what to do here, but you can't force it.
How old are they?
He's 3.
Okay, at 3, here's what I would do. He has to sit for, I believe, okay,
Mhm.
if possible, dinner should be a family thing. So
Yeah, they do
dinner
that.
is
So,
together. He sits at the dinner. Now he has stuff on his plate,
uh
and
huh,
he's,
yeah.
and if he chooses not to eat, then he chooses not to eat. I mean, you could say then you don't get dessert, but I mean, I don't think that one really matters sometimes. I would just have him sit there and I've had pediatricians tell me, don't worry if a kid is only eating cheese and chicken. They will get all
Mm,
the vitamins somehow. So I say in that stuff, it's a choice. And really, that's what anorexia and bulimia are. It's about
hmm.
control and it's
That's,
about the
yeah.
family. How else, under 18, just think about teenagers and kids, how else do you have control? Well, food. And little kids do poop. They don't poop because they're going to control that. I mean, that's really all we
Yeah.
do. And we want to try not to have kids that are holding their poop in and pooping once a week or not
Oh,
eating at all. So that's why we're giving them some control.
yeah.
And that will really help. I believe that's where those eating disorders come from.
Now, I remember what I was
Oh,
going to ask you about this whole idea of giving children choice and, and some control. I mean, you still, you give parameters on, you can do this or you can do this, but I love it. And I don't know, but what I'm thinking is, wouldn't, to me, that would kind of validate the child that you're giving them a choice. So I don't know what the word is. Maybe you respect them or you trust them enough
you
that
hear
you're
them.
going to give
Yeah.
them that control. Do you know what I mean? Does that make
As a
sense?
matter
Does
of
that?
fact, when I was talking about being the manager of a kid, you're the
Hmm.
store owner and you're the kid. That's where I was going. And I was going with you're you are the manager. So you're giving them really in reality choice A, choice B.
Hmm.
So you're giving them the parameter, but you're letting the child choose it. And you have to let them choose wrong sometimes. They need to know what a consequence is, like you said before.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's so much friendlier if you can do that. Now that's if you have a kid who communicates. If you don't have a kid who communicates, you're gonna have to do different things. But that's something I would recommend. Great.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Let's see.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
that
Good
whole
stuff.
eating disorder thing is not fun. And oh wow! And then
Yeah.
look at that. There's a bunch of people that know exactly all about that. Lady
Yeah.
Spellbreaker here just saying digestive disorders
Yep.
can be vagus nerve damage. Exactly, and
Right.
that's what I'm talking about tomorrow is the vagus nerve and how to
Really?
tone it.
Cool. Awesome.
Let's
Because food is
see.
really the only way if you're 12 that you can control your environment. My
Exactly.
parents can make me do everything, but they can't make me eat. They can't make me poop if I'm 4, 10. I mean, and
Yeah.
it comes down to 99.9% of the time a control issue. So if you
Hmm.
eliminate that control issue, you're going to eliminate the eating disorder. So I'm looking at attachment. I mean, I'm going way back and trying to help the child grow
Hmm.
because discipline is to teach. So that's very true. That is
Look at
absolutely true.
There's Terry. She's got the same issue I have, just no appetite at all.
I'm going to say this, and I apologize. I mean it in a joking manner, but I'm jealous. No, because I would like to lose like 50 pounds. So I hear that, and but I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. I don't know what that's like because I crave sweets, but that must be horrible. To go, no appetite.
I have to force myself to eat sometimes just so I can take my medication, and
and sure, or could you drink a protein drink?
Oh, I do that every day. I make myself do it because I have to have.
Know. I'm just thinking.
I can't run. If I don't eat something, I can't run. But yeah, it's weird. But I'm just looking at through here. There's a bunch of people that.
Because I'm thinking. Well, if people want to talk, I could do eating disorders next time.
That'd be good. I think. Let's see.
Yeah.
Wait, there was somebody. Hang on. There's quite a few ladies that have dealt with eating disorders because of
usually controlling parents, right? Or trauma that wasn't dealt
with
the right way.
Yeah.
Would people like me, if you can put in the chat, would people like me to do a topic on eating disorders? And the second question is, I like to do, if you say yes, eating disorders, I'm going to talk about where it comes from.
Ooh.
Or because I'm a child person, I look at development. Or do you want me to focus on when you have the eating disorder and how to get rid of it? So just people tell me where you want to focus, because I know my brain is going to go, here's what you do to your kids to set them up so this doesn't occur. But you have to let me know. I can do both, but I just need to know.
Yeah, so, I'm waiting. We always have that delay too.
Yeah. Oh. Well, and I'm sure people have heard of token economies systems. Have you?
Have what?
Token economy system?
No.
I don't like it. It's just too big of a title. So there's a way with parenting that every time a child does something correct, let's say you gave them a sticker on a chart, that is your token economy. So what we want to teach our kids, first, we want to give them rewards right away so they know it's immediate. But you can't do that all the time because I get paid every 2 weeks. So I have to have a delayed reaction of working and then getting paid. People have to learn that. So let's get to the root cause of the eating disorder. That's what I love, Lady Spellbreaker 1313. So that's great. I love it. And just to be quite honest, I'm human. Okay, if you psychologists are human, where it comes from. Okay, eating disorders is a difficult topic for me. Fortunately, not for me, but all of my cousins have. Okay, all my cousins have. Let's just say my mom has had a gastric bypass, and all of my cousins, her brother died of diabetes. He must have been over 400 pounds.
Oh dear.
My mom was well over 400 pounds. The 3 children on that side of the family have all had gastric bypass. So
my youngest sister had one last year.
So in my family, it's a real trigger that I have to be aware of. So while we're talking, I say, you know what? If I just understand where I'm coming from, I just have that perspective. But my mom she didn't get treats when she was growing up. And I think that's where her eating disorder came from. She had German Holocaust surviving German Jew parents.
Oh boy.
Artarian, who, when she went to the movie theaters with your friend as a teenager, she would get an apple to put in her pocket and could not order popcorn or a candy. So that kind of explains why my mom and my uncle are heavy. But then as a kid, this is a long time ago, there used to be Charlie's chips. And in New Jersey, you would get, a container of chips delivered to your house every week. We
Oh
had
wow.
every treat in the world. And on New Year's Eve, we could go to the store and buy any chocolate we wanted and eat it. So I was
Awesome.
you can overeat, you know. So my brother's the thin one. Sometimes I'm thin, sometimes I'm heavier, but that's where I'm at. But okay, Kimberly Hayes, I think it's Hazen. What about potty training autistic boy toddler? Ooh, that's when you're
That's a
talking
challenge.
special needs. Okay. Uh,
When I was in college,
yeah.
at one time I worked at a place where we had very autistic boys that their parents just couldn't manage them on their own, and we had them. It was like a group home, and
Yeah.
it was a challenge. It was a difficult job. I mean, we had one of them even had a helmet, that he had to wear all the time,
Yeah.
and it was just
It depends, Kimberly,
oh
on where your child's at, but let's just talk. I'm just going to do a general. You would do this for any kid, but with autism, you have to make the consequence directly, immediately to what's going on. So just like I'm terrible at this, and I don't mean your child's a dog, okay? But I talk about dogs. Just like my dog, my Zoe knows where to go potty, and I had to teach her by every time she went outside to the dog run and peed and came in, she got an immediate treat. That's where you need to start. I'm sorry, it's terrible to compare dogs, but I love dogs. So with people who have communication disorders or with young kids who are having trouble, every time your child goes to the bathroom on the potty, they get an immediate praise. Great job, you did awesome. And go to Oriental Trading Company and get those little stickers. You can find them online too and print them out. Or whatever it is that he likes. Some kids like piling up colors, maybe get them a bunch of colors that they can line up, little cars, whatever it is. The hard part is the negative. So let's say your son goes in the corner and poops or pees. There's where the anger can come in. At this point, let's just say that happens. I would do kind of an ignore almost. Not ignore, you can't ignore, but I would say you can walk up and say, no, this is not where we go. Pick up the poop with a tissue. And as you're doing that, ooh, this is gross. Go have your child follow you to the toilet, put it in the toilet and say, this is the trash our bodies make. You're going to put it here. Our body trash goes there. Not in the trash can, but in the toilet. And then flush it and say bye-bye. Because some kids are scared of the sound. With autism, I'm curious if your son is scared, Kimberly, of the sound of the toilet. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah.
But every time they go, you make a big deal. And every time they don't, redirect. But it has to be immediate. You can't find poop or pee in a corner and 2 hours later say something. There will be no connection.
Yeah.
So it just has to be immediate. And the token economy system is, I don't have enough time to explain that, but it's basically writing out the chore that they have, and they get a sticker or not, and how many stickers or stars they get equals a small prize or a big prize. When they do things wrong, not in the beginning, please, but after you've done this for a while, then you could take things away. So I don't like to take things away. I don't like negative punishments. I don't even like that word. I just like to discipline. So I don't even take things away. It's just you earn time on the computer or you didn't earn it. So I'm not taking away your time on your Switch or your Xbox, but you have to earn it because you had to work to get that Xbox, right? You had delayed gratification. You had to wait for a paycheck. Then you bought it. They have to wait. So I don't believe in that you can have anything in the house, but I'll take it away. It should be no, there's no Xbox time. There's no electronics unless you earn it. You earned an hour today. Awesome. There's your hour. There's your hour, Lucas. Good job. That way you're not taking it away and you're looking at positives. So
I love that.
Yeah, I hope that helps.
I will never forget. There was one time when my grandparents from Australia were here, and I would have been maybe
Wow.
7.
Okay.
I'm guessing, but my mother, had no ability to control her feelings. I mean, she'd just lash out, and it was just awful all the time. And it didn't matter who was there. I mean, her parents were there, and she still just. But I'll never forget one time she lost her. She just lost it.
Okay.
And I had to share a bedroom with my sisters, and um, we hadn't cleaned our bedroom, and she'd asked us to, and we hadn't done it, kids. It happens. And she really lost it, and she went into our bedroom and just started carrying, well, she got garbage bags and just started putting all of our toys into garbage bags, and she took it out, and we're on a farm, we incinerated our trash, and she went out, threw it in the incinerator thing, and started it all on fire. And I remember just sobbing, because those were my things, and I was looking at my grandparents like, aren't you going to do something? And they just, they wouldn't look at us. And
okay,
it was
so you
horrible.
Had 7. That sounds awful. You had no control over your own things.
Mm-hmm.
That's the root cause of, I mean, that could have been the beginnings of your eating disorder. Truthfully. Because
I bet
you certainly control what you put in your mouth, but that is awful to have all of your things thrown in the trash. Those are your things.
Yeah.
So your mom taught you that if you don't listen to me, I will take everything from you and you will have nothing. So just like I said in the beginning of the show, and I say at the end, don't parent with fear. That was a parent, your mom her parenting style was authoritarian and parenting with fear.
She did, she learned it from her father.
It's a pattern,
because I wonder how far back it went. But there was one time, I loved it when my grandparents were here from Australia. It was just like Christmas. They would bring an extra suitcase just full of treats and Australian candy and all this fun stuff. It was just Christmas. Awesome. And then when I was a teenager, everything changed. And I remember the first time that they were there. I hadn't seen them, and it had been a few years since they had been there. And I was driving. What's that?
I mean,
I was driving, and I was working, and I was a waitress. I was at work, and I came home, and they had just arrived, and I was really excited to see them. And the car that I was driving actually was my grandparents' car that they had. They purchased, and they just left, for when they were here in the States to use. And my grandfather, I was really excited to see them and everything. And then he found out that, he asked for the keys, and he went out and checked things over, and I hadn't put gas in it. And he just lost it. I mean, the things that he said, and it was just completely out of, they'd always been such loving grandparents, and then he just totally just went off on me, and it was so weird. And I was like, wait a minute. And I was a dumb teenager. No one had explained, it's a nice thing if you're using somebody else's car to put some gas in it, but no one had ever taught me that.
You weren't taught that.
Yeah, and so it made me so angry. Now that I look back on it, I'm still a little bit angry, because it's like, wait a minute, you can't expect a child to do something if you haven't taught them.
Right. Like growing up, when I started driving, I got my own car, but my parents said, if you ever borrow someone's car, fill up their gas tank.
Yeah.
It was just something that I always do. But it was that strong that you're still angry, 35 years later?
Long time. But yeah,
because
it made me mad, because, how can you expect a kid to do something if they haven't been taught that? I had no example to learn from, and I'd never been told that, so I didn't know. And
it was really said to you, you know what, in the future, there's something that a lot of people do. When you borrow someone's car, it is really nice to either fill up the gas to where it was, or if you have money to fill it up all the way. It's really nice. Like if I
Yeah.
borrow my parents' car, if it had half a tank, they get it back with half a tank. But that's what he should have said to you. And if you could have said, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. And
Yeah.
he could say, okay, well, just so you know for next time. But he didn't give you
Yeah.
that. You didn't. You can't be expected to know those things. Those are things that are taught. Those niceties. Those
Yeah.
small things we do. Things that autistic children don't understand. Those small social mores. They don't come from it. Yeah, the fear makes us sick. You're right, Lady
Mhm.
Spellbreaker
It
13.
really does too. But you know, that was that when
Physically,
he did
yeah.
that, when he reacted that way, my mother saw it, and I actually moved across the street and stayed at my other grandparents while my Australian grandparents were there, because that was the first time I got an inkling of what she had had to go through as a kid. You know, his reactions, I
Wow.
mean, just, you know, flying off the handle and just being so cruel and just, you know, just verbally ripping you apart. You know, my mother said, you will not, you know, you don't have to put up with that. And she sent me, you know, I stayed at, yeah, I stayed at the other house the
Yeah.
whole time that my Aussie grandparents were there that time. And what's sad is that's the last time I ever saw him, because when they went back, he had a heart attack and I
Oh,
never saw him again, you know. So we left on really rotten terms, you know.
yeah. Yeah. No, that I'm sorry that happened to you. That's a terrible story. But you
But you know,
wouldn't know.
it
You just
probably happened to him as a kid, you know. It's just these patterns just keep getting
and
passed
that's
down.
why I want to break these cycles. I mean,
Yeah.
just don't parent narcissistically from yourself. Like, I'm angry, so I'm going to give my anger to you. Don't do that. Parent teaching your kids. Remember, discipline is to teach. And that's what I mean because, yeah, I was hit with a belt. I was beaten with wooden sticks, spoons. Discipline in my house. I used this long hair.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, this took me a long time because as a little girl, I had hair down almost to my knees.
Mm-hmm.
But my
Wow.
mother, when she was angry, would grab me by it and throw me into the walls.
Oh, good
Oh, I'm
grief.
serious. So I
Wow.
as an adult, always had short hair.
Yeah, for good reason.
And I have finally let my hair grow, and it means there's a
Wow.
lot of meaning
That's a,
behind this. I love my mother. She lives in Las Vegas with me. I love her. Not in my home. She has her own home, but thank God. But I mean, that was how she was taught from her parents, the German authoritarian.
okay,
Listen
yeah.
to me. I'm the authority, and if you don't, you get hit. And that's,
Mm-hmm.
my father never hit. Never.
Hmm.
One time I fell down the stairs at my house. I don't know how old I was,
Oh no.
but we had a second floor. I happened to fall down the stairs, and I was at
Oh.
the bottom of the stairs. And I can remember my father coming up to me and taking my hand and going, "Don't you," very lightly,
Uh-huh.
"ever fall down those stairs again."
Oh
And
no.
I thought, my dad hit me. He hit me. My dad hit me. So that's my memory of my dad hitting me. It's
Oh,
not
wow.
not much of one. He was just upset that I fell down the stairs. But no human can do what they are not taught. We can only do better when we learn and know better, adult or child. That's right.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
I have a really dark phrase that I came up with, really dark in poetry. And
Uh-huh.
one of my poems just came to me. It's just one line. Innocence is shattered among the realms of reality. And that
Ooh.
I wrote that at
Wow.
I wrote that poem and one other one it's called that one. The other one was called Death. And it was, I'm not going to do the whole thing, but it started off with death can be felt in the mourner's heart and lit by the candle of reality. I was 9 when I wrote these things.
Good grief, woman.
I was in 4th grade. I was 9 or 10.
Wow.
And when I
Wow.
gave the poems to my English teacher, well, my teacher for all my classes,
You
Miss
probably scared her to
Mrs.
death.
Milkenberg, yes, and her husband was the principal.
Mm.
Oh, they called my mother in. They thought I
Oh
had to
no.
Wish I did. My gerbil had just died.
Oh no.
So I was writing a poem about death. And then I
But
thought
that's such a good
my
way to express your emotions, though,
my innocence was shattered with the reality of death does occur. My grandmother had died the year before, then my gerbil. So it's like my dog. I mean, I just had all these deaths in a row. So anyway, so I was a weird kid yet. But
I think it's remarkable.
Well, I always was good at expressing myself in writing. Something I really enjoy. So, but I can remember, boy, that caused they had my mom and dad come in and
No.
I had to see a psychologist and, but that's why I became one, I think, because I loved the psychologist I saw and he really helped me learn to
That's
express my
awesome.
feelings. So I became one. Yeah, in his honor. So that's absolutely true. Oh, look at the time.
I know. I just looked at that. I'm like, I need to tell you the question that Misha sent me.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
I'm sorry. But put
This is flown by.
Just put lots of, the likes are important. And if you can put lots of, or else Tommy's going to kick me off the boat. No, but I'm kidding. If you could put lots and lots and lots of likes and comments after 6 o'clock, because then they'll stay and let me know how you enjoyed it. That means a lot. So Lady Spellbreaker 1313, you saying that I helped you. That's my drug of choice now in life.
I know. I that's one of my love languages is I have to be told that I'm appreciated. That's what I need because I didn't get it as a kid, Right. So let's see.
In my life, it was expected as a kid.
Really?
Perfect. I mean, I was expecting, like, if I got a B on something, I had to get an A. That was expected. Yeah. So I just became a little type A personality, doctorate type A. Yeah. A little bit of an overachiever, but that's okay. I've calmed down now. I'm growing the hair out. And I'm still wearing tie-dye, so it's all good.
I love it that you were able to grow your hair out. That is huge. Yeah. That's huge. Okay. Let's see. The question she had was, she said, I'm trying to find the easiest app or website for simple UX process. I'm not sure what that means, but for simple UX process to allow users to fill out their own trauma timeline without frustrations, but developed enough to be able to use later and add things as they are remembered. Does that make sense? You know of an app or a website where you can do that? That's free?
Yeah, it's a thing called a journal.
Yeah, that's what I was looking, but
and yeah, I don't know of an app that allows you to do that. I really don't.
Yeah, I can
research
one down
for you. That I can research and I can let you know next week.
But there was
one.
When I was in rehab, that was the first thing that I had to do was make my own timeline. Birth. To where I was at that point, and then I had to fill everything in. And as I was doing that, then I would remember other things. And I mean, and they made you write your life story. Wow. And I think mine was like 35 pages when I was done. Wow. And it took me about 3 weeks to get through it. But it was just, just paper and a pen worked for me. But I know some people do have an easier time doing it on a computer. So,
Well, on the NA website, there's an app and this is appropriate for here. Okay. For Narcotics Anonymous. This might help you now that I'm thinking about it. It's an app called Clean Time. So it's all one word, Clean, CLEAN, capital TIME app, Clean Time app. And when I open it, it says, hello, Melissa. Hello, my name is Melissa and I'm an addict. I have 1 year, 2 months, and 12 days clean. So it tells me it has the keychain up there. Cool. And then there's a screen on the left and it says it has all the Just for Today readings. And then it has reading, gratitude list, share. That's not share. There is somewhere in here. settings, contact us. There's like a journal part in this. I know there is because I've used it. I can't find it. Or maybe through this I found it. But there is a journal in here where you can talk about things. I'm going to look that up for you. I will look it up because I really don't know. What does that mean? Somebody joining us?
Somebody, yeah. Miss Kimberly is here.
Okay.
Can you hear us? I mean, I haven't heard you yet.
Oh, just checking in, just watching the show, enjoying, getting a lot of information.
Oh, thank you. Is this Kimberly you wrote before?
Yeah.
In person? Okay, good. I hope that helped with your autistic child. How old is your child?
4, he'll be about 5.
Okay, so that's the advice I was thinking about with potty training. Also, give yourself a break. Kids have, until we want to potty train this country so fast, until the age of 6, until it's a problem. So if your kid's 4 going on 5, might be a pain in the butt, but I'm just telling you, they still developmentally, it's okay. Once they're 6, if they're not potty trained, we have a problem. But and you might with school and stuff. I'm just saying for now, you're okay. You're still in the right timeline. So it's okay.
What if he sometimes he does it and then sometimes he doesn't do it? Like sometimes he'll use the restroom and sometimes he won't use the restroom.
That's where the consistency and structure come in. So when he does, lots of praise, and get him some small, I don't know, sticker or something. And then if he doesn't, the other way, but always make sure that you give him there's always a consequence to either one, but make sure he always gets something he really likes when he goes potty. Because he has to learn the connection. When I use the bathroom and the potty, I get a treat. Therefore, I'm going to use the potty because I want a treat. And then eventually, once you get him sold on that system, then he might not get a treat. He's going to look at you and say, well, you got to do it twice now to get a treat. You don't want a kid at 18 needing a treat every time they use the restroom.
Yeah.
I'm not to do that. But hopefully that helps. But thank you.
Yep, good idea. I appreciate it. Great idea.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
I'm looking at the video like she's there. She's not.
Yeah.
And I'm looking right into the eyes of the. Oh, I just realized I'm doing that.
Oh goodness! Well, that was nice.
That was nice. Ends on a note like that. I like that. That's good. So
we are 4 minutes over the hour now, so we probably better shut things down. But
thanks for letting me onto the lifeboat today. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on and sharing. This is so nice to have a professional who really knows her stuff. This is very helpful.
Welcome. And you know what? I am going to research for the next time I'm invited on here. I'm going to do eating disorders. And when it's on the lifeboat, I always want to have an addiction slant too. So there'll be addiction in there too. But I want to look at eating disorders. It's something that I choose not to do in private practice, honestly. If someone comes in with eating disorder, I refer out just because that's not my specialty. Mm-hmm. But by researching it to teach you, I'm going to learn so much. So I see it as a win-win. So thank you. I really,
sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you again, and thank you to everybody that's come in and participated in the chat and added to everything.
Thanks, Kimberly. Thanks, Lady Spellbreaker 1313. I love that name. I would do 1111, but I like 11. That's cool.
Well, you guys have a great night, everybody. And
absolutely. Okay, thank you so much again, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. We'll see you later, guys.
On those likes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.